Hey, hi everyone. This is Prabhat, co-founder Nected. In this video, we'll talk about how to call Nected API from outside system via REST API protocol. So over Nected, whenever you build any rule, the rule is automatically exposed via this API, wherein you can pass the payload as. So over Nected, every rule once created will have an API over which you can call it up programmatically, and this rule will have a URL and a payload as you would have configured in your input attributes. You can set the authentication as public if you don't want to use any authorization, or you can use private via API key. So let's use Postman for this. So we are going to use Postman to call up the Nected rule API. So first way to call Nected rule is to pass a single input, right? So if we pass a single input as this payload, it will return a single outcome as per the rule execution. So to pass on this, you'll have to use the method post. Copy this URL of the rule as a base URL. I'll set up the authorization because we have authorization set. So we are going to use this key, Nected API key, and I'll just copy. We have copied this token into this and pass it on the header. If you don't want this, you can just set it as a public and you won't need to send any API key. Now coming to the payload. So obviously we're gonna use the format raw as a JSON, and I'll just copy this JSON. So I have already copied it. I'll just show you, like, this is what the JSON is, right? So obviously every Nected rule comes in both environments, staging and production. So if you're testing in staging, you can pass environment as staging, but if you're testing in production, you can pass environment as production. So these are the parameters. So that's it. Now I'll just click on send, and as I can see, I have been returned a result with a success. There is execution time in here as well as the ID in case for debugging purposes if you need it later. And this is the outcome that was set in our discount percent time in this. So if I go back to the rule, so for me it was a t-shirt, customer was domestic, and based on this there were two results, discount percentage as well as the sending the product name back if you want it in the response. So this is where you can call any Nected API through any external system via HTTP protocol. Another way, suppose if you have multiple inputs, say you have multiple items in your cart, or if you have multiple loan details for a user or anything, right, which you want to use in the rule, and you want to send all at once and get the outcome for all at once instead of calling this API in a loop. So in that case, what Nected also does is support a bulk input. What you can do is you can send the inputs as a list. Nected will understand it, will process the rule for all the items in the list, and will send the outcome also as a list, calculating the response for each. We do it with parallelization and making sure that the performance is maximum and you get the response in minimal time as possible. So to process for it, so the URL is going to be same, the method is going to be post as Nected is using. Authorization will again be the same, Nected API key, and I have used this token here. Now, but in the body params, if you remember, in the single rule call, you just are passing param as a singular list. There is no list as a singular JSON. But when you are passing rule in a bulk input over Nected, you can use bulk param instead of param and can pass those inputs in an array. So in this case, I'll be passing multiple items where customer location says domestic, product name is t-shirt, but then another item is where customer location is domestic, product name is kurta, and then another item where customer location is international and get product name. So I'm passing all these three in once. Once I'll click on send, what will happen is my Nected would have processed all these inputs separately and have sent you the outcome as a bulk output. So these are the new keys that happens for the bulk inputs and bulk params, and you'll see the outcome for each item along with any error if so separately. So you can see for one item we will matching product name t-shirt, discount is this, another is kurta 20%, and offer is 15, and the execution time is within 100 milliseconds. So that's what I was trying to say. Even if you send the items, we are making sure that the response gets as fast as possible. Thanks for your time, and if you have any query or any assistance needed, please drop us a message at assist@nected.ai, and our team will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.